What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is our new series, Quick 5 Fridays. We're just going to be doing these every Friday as much as we can, and it's just going to be like quick 5-minute segments. And Kevin is going to be leading it this week. So, Kevin.
All right, guys. So I got something really interesting to talk about this week, and I think it's a really important life experience and life lesson that you can think about next time you're in a stressful situation, right? So it's kind of complicated, but if you think about it, think back to a time when you were nervous and a time when you were excited, right? And whether it be you're going to Disney World or something, or before you have to go and perform at a sports event and you're nervous, right? So if you think about those times, if you think about what you're feeling in that moment, the stimuli is the exact same between nervousness and excitement. So you think about when you're nervous, you get kind of shaky, you feel like butterflies in your stomach, anxious, right? It's like an anxiety-causing behavior, right? If it's like a sports event, right? Brandon plays basketball.
Yep, I agree.
And when you're excited, even if it is a sports event too, same thing. It's just anything that makes you excited. You feel the exact same stimuli. Maybe you'll get sweats, you'll feel butterflies, shaking, everything like that. Maybe anxiety if it's like a roller coaster or something. But if you think about it, the only difference between nervousness and excitement is the way that we interpret it. So next time, I think this is a really good piece of advice, is that next time you're feeling nervous or anxious about something you've never done before, or if it's something outside your comfort zone, think of it as being excited. It's the same exact stimuli, and the only difference between those two feelings and anxieties is that you're interpreting it differently. So I think that's a really interesting thing to just think about during the day, and when you find yourself in a situation like that, maybe think back to that.
Yeah, so I've been listening to a different podcast. I just started listening to it. It's called the Bruce Lee Podcast. It's run by his daughter. One of their first podcasts was about one of his most famous quotes. It's, "Be water, my friend." You can actually look up the clip of him describing it and saying it himself for the first time on, I think it was in a movie. It might have been in an interview.
I think it was just an interview.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Right.
Yeah. So it was really, really cool to see, the description of it, and the basis of it was built on being, fluid, and you should be in, a fluid state of mind at all times. You should be ready for anything, alert of your surroundings, ready to face anything that's gonna come at you. He described it as water going around an obstacle. It's so fluid that it can go through an obstacle, it can go over an obstacle around it, and it can fill whatever it's in. If you put it in a glass, it's gonna become that glass. It's really, really interesting, and it ties back to the nervousness versus excitement. So if you're at your sports game and you feel nervous and you interpret it more as of excitement, then you could become adapted to that environment.
Yeah, and I don't even think it needs to be interpreted just in the literal sense of being aware of everything around you. I think just as a character being fluid, right? As your personality and stuff, be willing to change as things come in your life, as obstacles appear, and as you're faced with challenges, you need to be able to overcome and adapt things instead of just being stuck in that one place and not overcoming your challenges. You need to be able to overcome it and be like water and just go around it and adapt.
Right. And life in general, no matter who you are, is not just going to be, straightforward. You're going to have these obstacles. And so it's really important that you are able to adapt and able to go around them, over them, whatever, so that you can continue on your life and better yourself through that.
Yeah, you're not going to ever know when or what obstacle is going to come in your way. It could come at any time. It could come at the worst possible time. It could come at a time where it's pretty easy to get around it. But you just have to be ready for it and ready to move around it, move through it, anything, with that basis of nervousness versus excitement.
Yeah, and I think we're about to run out of time, right? It's about to be 5 minutes. So I just want to leave you guys with a quote that I think personally is my favorite quote as we wrap this up. And it's a very popular quote. It's by Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind." And I think that's just an amazing quote. And I think that, interpreting that as you will and just thinking about it, I think that is a good quote to just think about during the day.
Yeah, for sure. So think about that through the week.
Just go through this week, expand your knowledge.
Get those
Keep
life
going.
experiences.
Be ready to
guys.
be fluid, for any obstacles. But thanks for tuning in to our first episode of Quick 5 Fridays. And we will see you guys next week with a regular episode and another Quick 5.
And also, guys, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Off the Top 7. Our name is just Off the Top Podcast. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment below if you have any questions. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
All right, peace.